So here we are. We are at the end of an era for Permission to Speak Freely podcast, right? I think throughout all of 2022, we've been reviewing one show, right? And Band of Brothers, right? We took weeks off. It's different things, stuff like that. I actually watched this show the week we were supposed to review.
Yeah,
it.
me too.
And I want to start out first, man. I got to give a couple shout outs. My first shout out is to everybody that watches the YouTube, the reviews, especially the people that might listen to the podcast and still watch the review. My other shout out is to Molly Dangerous, right? It's either Molly Dangerous or Molly Dangerous. I want to say Molly. Hey, shout out to you. I honestly think you just skip the whole episode on YouTube and go straight to the Band of Brothers review. And then you hit us with a lot of good information. Like, for instance, Molly Dangerous told us that last episode, the Why We Fight episode, that those were actual like cancer patients that played the people that were locked in the camps. Those were people who actually had cancer and like late. I think somebody else added that they were in like close to terminal phases or whatever. So that wasn't really makeup. That wasn't much of that. That was like actual people that were actually like, sick and stuff like that. But Molly Dangerous been with us this whole ride, man. Yeah. I'm telling you, David. Like, I really wanted to like invite Molly Dangerous like to the podcast for our last review, but I didn't know if he or she wanted to to do it. You know what I'm saying? But if you did, let us know, because when we do our segment on either Generation Kill or the Pacific, when we decide to watch those, we want to bring you on. Like, I think you'd be a great addition to this if you want to do it. So definitely big shout out. I wanted to take a long moment to shout out Molly Dangerous too, because they've been with us every step of the way. So episode 10, right? Episode 10. What's the name of this episode? You know? Points?
Yes. Points. That's the name of it. Points.
Right?
Yep.
Episode 10 points, right? Yep. It's funny because I got it there because that's where I write all my names, but then I also had points from the episode, so I ain't remember points are points. So Band of Brothers, shout out Molly Dangerous, episode 10 points. What was your take?
Well, my take was the war is over, man. It ended kind of like I thought, how it you saw that it kind of build up from Why We Fight to this one. It's kind of the build up that it was going to be over, that everything gonna be a little bit more relaxed in the setting anyway, on the things they was doing. But they was about to go back, and then all of a sudden it kind of like ended. It was over. Everything was good, right? Still seemed like mental health. You see in the last episode, mental health still played a part in the show. But one of my biggest moments of this one, man, was when Winters, when he talked to his previous, I think it was a captain, in the first episode. I know you may know his name, but I don't remember his name. But when he said, "You salute the rank, not the man." Sober, man. Hey, that was powerful, man, because he tried to look off, and I like how Winters didn't let him get away, man. Nah, you ain't getting away with that. You know what I mean? I kind of
like Angeline just said that to me today. She salute the rank, not the man. When I told her about that captain, that I forgot to salute.
Yeah, man. Hey,
she's like, salute the rank, not the man. And I did pop tall and wound up saluting him later.
And the other thing was, man, at the ending. The ending was so powerful when I found out who was who, you know what I mean? So if you guys know what I'm talking about, the characters, they showed who Winters was, and they showed all these characters and who they was in real life. And I think that was pretty powerful because these guys was talking in the beginning of every episode. We just didn't know who they was. So now we kind of put a face to some of these characters that we've been looking for, all of 22. So that was a big deal, man. the movie itself, man, and I don't know if we want to talk about the big review or whatever, the whole show itself, but I want to say this, man.
No, let's hold off on it.
Okay,
Maybe Molly.
okay.
Maybe we could get Molly with us
Yeah,
next
yeah,
week,
we can
and
get
we could
Molly Wilson to
actually.
talk about the most.
And even if not, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
Even if
okay,
we can't, we
okay.
still gonna talk about it.
But there was an ending, man. It wasn't no bloodshed. It wasn't nothing crazy. It was an ending to a great show, and they did a great job at ending it, man. So I like it, man. It was good.
Yeah, and that's par for the course to me for HBO, right? If you look at The Wire, the first season of The Wire, like episode 9 is the episode, like 7, 8, 9, but 9 is the episode, and then 10 is the aftermath of 9 and how we setting up for next season. If you look at Game of Thrones, most of the Game of Thrones seasons, episode 9 is the episode, and 10 is, the finality of everything. So HBO normally does that. Like episode 9 is normally the one, and then that next one is just let's close this out. And that's what I felt like from Band of Brothers. Like it was like let's close this out. I mean, I was hoping for like a standoff or something like that. I was thinking it was going to be something, but it wasn't. They just like let's close out our character, because HBO is very good at character development. Like, so it's like, yo, let's close out our characters. We want you to see where they're going. So we got to see it in the show where they were going. And then even after the show, like you said, and like the tail of the tape, I call it, but we got to see where everybody life kind of went, after. And it was humbling. A lot of these guys like pretty much lived like normal lives after. After this crazy experience, right? So let me run through some of my thoughts here. My first thought was I was missing a doc in the beginning, man. Like, because I fast forward through the intro and I'm like, oh man, like I was like, did it start with the doc, then go to the intro? Or did it start with the intro music and then go to the doc? I was like, I forgot, but I didn't see the doc. I'm like, yo, so I went backwards again. I'm like, yo, where's the doc? But it wasn't a doc, because at the end, and when I say doc, I'm talking about the documentary style kind of like video in the beginning where you see the older guys. I knew who Winters was. I knew who Winters was. I knew that I knew who Winters was. I was right about who Winters was too. I looked at the runtime, right? So that's another thing that what like shows of this kind of magnitude sometime, right? And it's just me being who I am as like a cinema kind of person, right? I looked at the runtime, and when I saw that it was the normal hour that it normally is, I was like, all right, they're gonna get right to it. They're gonna do what they gotta do. This is it. It ain't like an hour and 20, it ain't an hour and 10, it ain't an hour and 30. It's a regular hour. Like, we just gonna get to this, we gonna get it done, we gonna get it out of here. A lot of times shows try to give you that extra long, finale or whatever like that. This one didn't do that. 1945, Zell am See Austria or whatever, right? The war is all but over, right? Same thing like you thought. It's all but over. And then they thinking about, like, I don't know about you, but like them talking about what was next after the war, like really affected me. Like you got these guys that all we knew about these guys from day one was war, and then they just chilling and like at a lake, like, yo, like come work for me. You know what I'm saying? Like they already kind of focus on like what's next. Easy Company still has some work to do. They had to take the Eagle's Nest. We saw the German army surrender, and what the dude say, like something like, what's life for like guys like us if it wasn't war? You know what I mean? Like one of the German dudes when he tried to turn over his handgun. Winter's like, no, keep that, man. So the big thing about this episode was you needed 85 points to be discharged, right? You needed 85 points to be, that was the big thing. Like people didn't have points. You had to get points. I don't want to give too much about that aspect of the episode for anybody that's watching it. But that was the kind of like where the last bit of suspense in the show was who could, get discharged. The Shifty story, right? So Shifty was able to go. He had enough points. He was able to go. On the road on his way out, he got hit by a vehicle. Right? On the road on his way out, he got hit by a vehicle, which was ironic. It was kind of funny to me, but it was also sad too. It's like, damn, he went through all this.
Yeah, that was sad, man.
He went through all this, made it out, and then on the way damn home, you get hit by a vehicle or whatever like that. And I think he had to hang around for like another 2 months or something like that. Tom Hardy died. Our boy, man, Tom Hardy
Yeah,
passed, man.
Oh,
Tom Hardy passed. I wrote whooping dude ass on here. Oh yeah,
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, they was whooping his
Yeah,
ass,
man.
man. So that it was almost like, so this
That
what
was
I
the mental
thought. This
health
what I
part of it I
felt.
was talking about. Yeah.
What I felt was that they got crazy when it wasn't an enemy to fight.
Yeah.
It ain't no enemy to fight
Yeah.
no more. We so used to this lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, dude's tripping like he drunk. He said mental health. Dude was drunk though.
Yeah.
He was drunk.
Yeah.
He shot a dude. Yo, they poured him in there like Lord of the Flies style. Like, yo, we gonna judge
right
ourselves.
now.
We just gonna whoop your ass. And then old boy came in and was about to kill him. It seemed like he was gonna kill him, but then he chilled out. And I think that was a good thing to happen, was like we didn't lose all of our humanity here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think that was like kind of like what that was, to symbolize for me. That's what I took from that. Like, because it was like
close though.
Like,
I thought that was gonna be like we was gonna most definitely be talking about that if he would have pulled that trigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that got to be a lot of frustration where it's like, yo, like we finish all of this, but yo, if you don't got a certain amount of points, you can't go home.
Yeah, that's crazy too.
And then just me knowing the history, I think all of us knowing history of all of this stuff, when that aspect of the war was over, it was still craziness going on in the Pacific.
Yeah.
Like, cause that's the first thing I thought, like when it was like, yo, we finish over here in this leg. And I'm like, well, what about the Pacific? I know it's some crazy stuff going on over there. And then you saw them watching the news reports and saw them watching the footage from what was going on in the Pacific. I'm like, yeah, because the Pacific still had some stuff going on until the bombs and, stuff like that happened. So, that was stuff. And I also wrote Salute the Rank, not the man. Down, because that brought the whole thing, because that was episode 1 and then that was episode
everything
10.
Full circle, right?
That brought everything full circle, and it also kind of showed you what Winters had learned as well, because Winters didn't want to address that before with Sobel. He ain't want to address that. He ain't want to talk about that with Sobel.
Yeah.
And it probably was like imposter syndrome or something like that, what a lot of us get.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome. But he let him know. He even did something that I could see you doing. Like, hey, so like he called him back. Like hold up, no, you gonna stop. like that captain did me. Senior? He said, senior?
We talked to you for a bit.
But no, you gonna stop and you gonna, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So and Sobel's supposed to do that. Like that's what you're supposed to do. I just recently had that kind of conversation with one of my sellers too. Just about that aspect of the rank, man.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that no matter how far, in this review and everything, I feel like I didn't touch on mad elements from this whole episode just in this review. But that's one of the things that no matter how far that we go, as a Navy, as an organization, whatever, I don't ever think we should forget about that part of it. And that's the rank structure. And that's the respect for that aspect of it or whatever like that. We all need to respect each other as humans, right? All of us, up and down the chain of command. But I also think that, a customary thing that I don't want to see go, right? And it's just my own self, is that respect for rank. I was so happy to pop tall and salute Mr. Gonzalez, Warrant Gonzalez today. I was so happy to pop tall and salute him.
Yeah.
It just felt so great, man, to salute somebody that I was on a deck place with as a first class and shit. Like I said, I get a kick out of that.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sorry to that captain. You know what I'm saying? I apologize to you, man. He is with his wife, man. He's trying to show her, like, he the man. I'm the man out here.
Like it's my base.
They salute me out here.
It's my base. It's my base. It's what I do.
Yeah, they salute me out this joint. But Band of Brothers, loved it. Loved it. We're going to actually review the show. We've been reviewing it episodically. We're going to give our take on the show next week.